It all starts with a phone call, a sudden, unexpected ring that shattered a decade of silence. The voice on the other end? Bob Dylan. And just like that, Joan Baez was no longer in the present. She was transported back to a crummy hotel room in Greenwich Village, sometime around 1964 or 65. The scent of cigarette smoke, the echo of guitar strings, and the ache of a love that had always lived somewhere between the lines came flooding back. That phone call, filled with the weight of memory, became the spark that lit the fire behind one of the most haunting songs Baez would ever write. Baez and Dylan were more than just icons of a generation. They were once deeply entwined in each other's lives. Together, they helped shape the American folk revival of the 1960s. But behind the harmonies and the protests was a love story far more complicated than most fans realized. Baez adored him, his mind, his music, his mystery. She brought him into her spotlight, shared her stage, and stood beside him as his legend grew. But Dylan was elusive. One day, he made her feel like the center of his universe. The next, he seemed like he was already gone. Baez would later reflect that he couldn't make up his mind about her, always keeping things vague. There were times she thought they might get married, and times when she felt like they were barely even friends. After their split, Baez tried to move on. She married, had a child, and built a life that didn't revolve around him. But every now and then, he'd call. Out of the blue. No reason, no warning, just Dylan crashing back into her carefully rebuilt world and stirring up feelings that never really left. The phone call that inspired Diamonds and Rust was one of those moments. But instead of brushing it off, Baez sat down and began to write. What followed wasn't just a song. It was a poetic reckoning. Take the opening lines. Well, I'll be damned. Here comes your ghost again. But that's not unusual. It's just that the moon is full, and you happen to call. These lines are deceptively simple, but they carry immense emotional weight. The word ghost is doing heavy lifting. It's not just about Dylan, but about all the unresolved feelings that still haunt her. The line about the full moon suggests a sense of fate, of cosmic timing, as if even the universe conspires to resurrect old pain. Then there's this devastating stanza. Now you're telling me you're not nostalgic? Then give me another word for it, you who are so good with words and at keeping things vague. Here, Baez flips the script. She challenges Dylan with the very tools he's known for, language and ambiguity. It's part heartbreak, part indictment. The brilliance of these lines lies in how they merge wit with sorrow. She's not pleading, she's confronting. And yet beneath the sharpness, you can still hear the ache. But perhaps no line captures the soul of the song better than the chorus itself. And if you're offering me diamonds and rust, I've already paid. It's an unforgettable metaphor. Diamonds, the beautiful, dazzling moments. Rust, the corrosion left behind. Love in this song is both treasure and ruin. And Baez isn't asking for anything back. She's saying she already paid the price. The chorus stands as one of the most emotionally potent in folk music. Cutting, elegant, and deeply human. Diamonds and Rust is a song filled with melancholy, memory, and razor-sharp honesty. Baez initially told Dylan it was about her ex-husband, David Harris, but the lyrics made it clear this wasn't about Harris. This was about Dylan. It was a portrait of a relationship that still loomed large in her heart, years after it had ended. Baez has said the song is about how time can turn dark charcoal into diamonds or shiny metal into rust. It's not a bitter song. It's an honest one, a song that captures what it feels like to look back on love with both tenderness and clarity. Diamonds and Rust became a hit, reaching the top 40 in the US and serving as the title track for her gold-selling 1975 album. But it wasn't just a commercial success, it was an artistic triumph. After years of performing other people's songs, Baez returned to songwriting with renewed fire. Critics who had once dismissed her lyricism were silenced by the depth and precision of this track. It was proof that Joan Baez, the voice of protest and peace, also knew how to write about heartbreak with devastating precision. The story continued when Dylan invited her to join him on the Rolling Thunder Revue tour. There they were again, on stage, side by side, singing through the tension and the history. In her memoir, And a Voice to Sing With, Baez recounts talking to Dylan about the song during rehearsals. He didn't say much. Maybe he didn't have to. The song said it all. Over the years, Diamonds and Rust has been covered by a wide range of artists, from folk duos to the heavy metal band Judas Priest, each drawn to its poetic sorrow. But none of them could replicate the raw, lived-in emotion of Baez's version, because only she knew what those memories really felt like. Only she could sing them with that mixture of pain, clarity, and grace. The brilliance of Diamonds and Rust lies in how deeply personal it is and how universal it feels. Everyone has someone they remember with both affection and ache, someone who changed them, someone who still lives in the quiet spaces between their thoughts. That's what Joan Baez captured so perfectly. A love that was never simple. A goodbye that never fully settled. More than just a folk song, Diamonds and Rust is a testament to the power of memory and the music that rises from it. It shows how art can turn pain into poetry, and how even the most tangled relationships can leave behind something achingly beautiful. Baez didn't write it for the charts. She wrote it because the past came knocking, and because sometimes when the ghosts return, the only way to quiet them is to sing.